Take a deep breath in, breathing in that wonderful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow yourself to gently release any feelings of stress or tension, feeling it leave your body in that outward breath, before breathing in an even deeper breath of resourceful relaxation. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And particularly focus on your eyelids. Breathe in relaxation, breathe out tension, feel them becoming heavier and heavier. So heavy that they feel that even if you tried to open them, you couldn't. And allow that feeling of relaxation to spread down into your cheeks and jaw. Allow that relaxation there in your forehead. Notice the more relaxed you feel around your neck and throat and chest, the easier it is to breathe in and breathe out, almost effortless. I want you to think of all of those qualities that have accumulated in your life. Knowledge, wisdom, compassion, tenacity, intelligence, drive. Remind yourself that you are not weak. Remind yourself you have faced adversity, harsh storms, difficult times, and got through every one of them. Some people feel like a victim. Other people know they are a survivor. And some people merely survive. Others build on the foundation of that survival and end up thriving. And I want you to think of all the times that you thrived. Remind yourself you are not weak, you are strong. You are not broken, you are stronger than ever. And I want you to feel vigilance. Some people are aware of that term vigilance from vigilante. Those people that seek to ensure justice is served because others won't. And I want you to feel that every superhero is a vigilante. But the difference between a superhero and a supervillain is discernment. To have that power and to know when to use it. To know when to dish out punishment or lessons, when to be brutal and when to be merciful. And I want you to feel you are unleashing the superhero within you. Just imagine amplifying every one of your qualities by a factor of 100. 100 times the wisdom, 100 times the intelligence, 100 times the physical strength, 100 times the courage. Amplify all of them. Feel that with this you are stronger than a full-grown man, twice your size. And if you can imagine feeling that strength, that courage, that power, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine floating up out of your body, keeping your physical body there, but taking this superhero back in time, all the way back in time. The time when you were just a vulnerable child. But you don't go back to the memory as you were. You go back to the memory of you as this superhero going back to that vulnerable child. Perhaps after the very first time that they were abused. Maybe they're confused. Maybe they're sad. I want you to go back at your current age with all of that wisdom, feeling powerful to comfort a vulnerable child. Tell that child that they are loved, that they are believed. Tell them what happened was not their fault. They're not to blame. That any blame or shame is not for them, but for the perpetrator. That they are good and pure and innocent. And I want you to feel that there is a connection. You from the present and you from the past. And I want you to feel that your superpowers can be transferred. I want you to think of what happens when one candle lights another candle. It doesn't take anything from the original candle to light the second. And I want you to feel all of those powerful resources within you. And I want you to feel that they are transferring to that younger version of you. Maybe you could imagine that through a transference of energy, light frequencies. Or maybe it requires physical contact like a hug. But make sure that that version of you feels safe and trusting. And when you feel that those resources are transferring from you to them, let me know by nodding your head. And we need to make a promise to that younger version that you will protect them. And I want you to imagine that from that point onwards you become invisible. And you're just there to observe what happens over the next few days until there is another attempt of abuse. That abuse may be physical, psychological, or just manipulation. But I want you to observe. And the moment you feel that it's the right time, I want you to intervene like a superhero. A superhero will be there at the point where the crime is being committed to serve instant justice. And I want you to be there. But I want you to feel empowered, fearless. And at the point where you observe what happens, or what is attempting to happen, remembering that you are stronger than any human could ever be. Before you immediately dish out any punishment or physical consequences, I want you to treat this like a teachable moment. To say the words that should have been said long ago. The sneakiness, the cowardice. I want you to hold this person responsible, hold their feet to the flames of their own actions. I want you to see them squirm as they can't talk their way out of it. That when they say nonsense, you laugh. I want you to sneer through the bullshit and feel so powerful as you reflect back what is happening. Hold them accountable, hold them responsible. Whatever they try and say to justify just digs them deeper. And maybe if they try to just ignore or deflect, you'll need to demonstrate that power that you have so that you are respected. And at that point where you do that thing to ensure that respect is there, notice that that younger version of you is watching, seeing the power dynamic shift, seeing that person that they feared become afraid. And if you could observe such an interaction, let me know by nodding your head. And then tell them what you're about to do. Tell them that it is punishment for what they've already done. And anything they do in the future will lead to amplified consequences. And then allow yourself to serve justice. They say hurt people, but only if they choose to. Hurt people can become healed people. And I want you to feel that you're creating a crossroads. That with this accountability and consequences, they would then have to choose to be this person or choose not to. And when you serve that justice, it's not from a place of cruelty. It's not from a place of rage. It's from a place of justice. For most people, actions have consequences and feel that this is the consequence. And once that consequence has been implemented, that justice has been served, let me know by nodding your head. And in front of that individual, tell that younger version of you that if anything like this happens again, you will increase the severity of the justice. And I want you to see that child feel empowered, feel protected, feel believed, feel loved. And then just imagine following a different timeline, seeing a childhood where what happened perhaps didn't happen, and sometimes intervening to make sure that behavior is correct, I want you to feel that you are a protector, a provider, an educator to that younger version of you, but also an educator to that person that was the abuser. And maybe they change their ways, or maybe they don't. But feel that you are doing what's within your power, and I want you to see that little girl flourish. And if you can see that, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to feel that in the quantum realm, infinite realities exist. And by doing what you're doing here, in so many of those alternative realities, new timelines are being created that ripple through time and create entire, different chain reactions. But for now, follow your timeline to the point, perhaps just minutes or hours before the death of this abuser, much older in life. Feel a sense of ambivalence, but also feel it's time to make sure that a mirror is held up for their actions. Just imagine that you have access over this time to all of the information, all of the victims. And I want you to imagine one of your superpowers is to take the emotion of the person that was abused and to transfer it at 100 times the intensity to the abuser. That for the last hours of their life, they experience all of the abuse that they caused at 100 times the intensity for themselves. That if it caused shame, they experience 100 times the shame. If it caused sadness, 100 times the sadness. All of it amplified, not from cruelty, but from justice. And as you experience that justice, feel that an open loop is starting to close. That at a karmic level, unfinished business is now finished. That sensitivity that was overreacting can now recalibrate to the appropriate level. And be there the second the abuser dies, knowing that they experienced what they dished out. And in that moment, all unfinished business and open loops are now closed. And if it feels that that feeling is rippling through time to the present moment, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. In which case it's time to return to the present moment. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect fully into the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.